I have a couple of videos. So when I share the content, it will stream the video. Gopal?
Sir, please tell me, sir. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, please confirm if you are able to see my content.
Yes, sir, we are able to see, sir.
It is visible, sir.
Okay.
Gopal, sir, Bala, sir, can we start, sir?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you.
Okay. Okay, sir. Shravani, ma'am,
Sir.
you can start the proceedings, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Good afternoon to one and all. Myself, M. Shravani, working as Assistant Professor in CSE Department of Pallavi Engineering College. Welcoming all the participants to the Power Seminar on Artificial Intelligence, organizing by the Department of Computer Science and Engineering of Pallavi Engineering College, located at Nagaul, Hayatnagar, associated with ICT Academy. Where ICT Academy is an extension term Information Communication and Technology. It is an initiative of the Government of India in collaboration with the state government and industries. With training of teachers and students as a primary objective, ICT Academy has been working through the areas of faculty development, youth empowerment, industry institution interaction, digital empowerment, and research publications. Mr. B. Gopal sir, Relationship Manager of ICT Academy of Telangana, who has institutional membership with Pallavi Engineering College, helped in conducting various workshops, power seminars, and so on. Thank you, sir. Thank you for helping us.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Before going to start this session, I would thank our Vice Chairman, sir, Sri Malka Komaraya Garu, founder, CEO of Shalivahana Group, is a man of vision, well disciplined, programmatic, and preserving. He completed his BTech in Civil Engineering from OU. He is integral in integrating technology, education, and research to make Pallavi Engineering College an exemplary institution. Under his guidance, Pallavi Education Society achieved several landmarks and laurels. I thank you, sir, for giving this opportunity to conduct this session. And also, I thank Dr. Mahesh Manivanna, sir, Principal of Pallavi Engineering College, who has 15 years of teaching experience and 11 years of research experience. Thank you, sir, for guiding and supporting to conduct such useful sessions. And also, I thank Dr. K. Ravindranath Tagore, sir, Vice Principal of Pallavi Engineering College, who has 20 years of experience in teaching profession. He has been working in the college in various cadres. Thank you, sir, for supporting us and giving this opportunity and for these wonderful sessions. I also thank CSE HOD, sir, Srihari Raju, sir, for coordinating this power seminar, who always support us and guide us in all every aspects. I thank you, sir. Thank you very much. And I want to take privilege for introducing today's speaker, Bala Prasad, sir. Bala Prasad Pedigari, sir, working with Tata Consulting Services Limited for over 16 years. He practices enterprise architecture and evangelist platform solutions. performance engineering solutions on Microsoft platform, scalable architectures, and cloud technology initiatives within TCS. Currently, Bala sir heads the Technology Excellence Group and Innovation Management for High-Tech Vertical. He drives the architecture and technology community initiatives within TCS through coaching and mentoring. Bala sir has done masters in computer applications from University College of Engineering, Usmania. He was university first. He is the Open Group Master IT Certified Architect and serving as a board member in Open Group Certifying Authority and also a board member at Computer Measurement Group, India. He received accolades for his cloud architectural strengths and published his papers in IEEE and regular speaker in Open Group conference and technology events. He is a working group member in Open Group for Cloud. Welcome, sir, and thank you for this session. And now let us start our session by handovering mic to today's speaker, Bala Prasad, sir. Sir, please.
Okay, thank you. And I'm trying to set the context. So for the next 1 hour, we are going to speak about and understand about the AI, artificial intelligence. And basically, today, if you're trying to look into the industry, it has been continuously transforming the culture and also transforming the way we are trying to interact with the digital world. So there is a lot of digitization happening across the world, and it is very important for all of us to understand what are the different trends which are happening in the market, which is trying to drive this change. Right from the things which you are trying to see from the virtual platforms, which is helping us to collaborate during these pandemic times, and the smartphones, the digital gadgets, which are enabling us to connect to the remote services, all are powered with lot of before I move on, I just want to understand, you are able to hear me clearly or any problem? Just acknowledge.
Clear.
Okay, thank you. So all are powered by the way this digital five forces are driving the change. So when I say digital five forces, what it comes is social, mobility, analytics, cloud, Internet of Things, and which are all supported through the form of artificial intelligence, AI. That's where NASCOM coined it as a SMACIT, SMACIT. And it is important that as we progress in the journey of the digital world, we need to have an understanding that how AI is going to broadly change the lifestyle of the individuals and also change the lifestyle of the work we are associated with. Today, we have literally moved out from the situation where we type to the instruction-driven applications. That's where the conversational experiences are really getting evolved. You see, our mobile phones are capable enough to take the instructions. Like if you use iPhone, the Siri is there to listen to our instructions and operate. While the things are getting matured over the period of time, but there are technologies which are really helping in maturing these particular technologies and making it happen. Many organizations today have started adapting this particular change and trying to enable the workforce and automate the work, enable the workforce, and also create a very modern workplace environments for people to operate upon. So with that piece of an introduction, I want to play out a small video and help you understand how the things are getting transformed now. This is something, a live case study, which I'm trying to bring it to your attention. Please confirm if you're able to hear the audio.
Amika, when's my next meeting?
11 a.m. with Alice from International Bank.
Amika, can you block my calendar as busy for the next 2 hours?
Your calendar has been blocked from 9 to 11.
What if you could reimagine your work? Imagine artificial intelligence and cognitive computing making a real difference to your working day.
Amika, what's the top news in the firm today?
20% increase in profits this quarter. European regulatory norms for financial authorities have changed. Adopt now to be compliant.
Fast, reliable and hassle-free help when you need it most.
Amika, can you reset my laptop password?
I have texted an OTP. Please try to log in now.
Thanks. You're a star.
Enhancing customer experience.
So Mark, can I have a look at the analytics report for the product launch we did last month?
Yeah, of course.
On-demand access to information and reports when you need them most.
I have to say that I'm impressed. Last time I asked your guys, they took about a week to get back to me.
Yeah, much quicker now with Amika.
So if we did a similar thing in the US, would you be able to support us on the ground there?
Okay, let's check, shall we? Yes, that should be no problem.
That was effortless.
An intelligent friend with the ability to integrate to your enterprise applications and social media.
John Smith from the European Bank has just tweeted, I will be at Financial Expo next month. Do you want to book a meeting with him?
Yes, please.
I have sent a calendar request. You look happy today. Shall I play your favorite music?
Changing the way you manage your everyday tasks.
Flight in 2 hours.
Amika, can you book a taxi to Heathrow?
Taxi arrives in 15 minutes. Sure, I have checked stock availability. You can collect it from reception now.
Get ready to enjoy the experience of a world empowered by technology. Welcome to the world of Amika, where technology makes people smarter.
Amika, book out of office for 1 day.
So, in the earlier example, you have seen how a particular conversational based virtual assistant can help in simplifying many tasks. It's not only improving the productivity, but also providing the real time access to the information and make it your work to be more powerful. Now, you've seen an instance where it was able to place an order for that laptop charger and able to collect it. It was able to place a request for the taxi for him to onboard. It was able to proactively look into the his network related tweets and proactively checking whether he wanted to book a meeting with him. All those things are today possible using the digital technologies powered by AI. And you see, most of this particular day in a life of an individual is driven with a lot of conversations. And these conversations, if there is a digital assistant and digital friend which can really listen to it and enable it, it will be much, much more powerful. I think there is an echo which is coming in. If you can please mute, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Okay, now as I see, it's very, very important that how this historical progress happened and what were the things which happened in the past which really made us to reach to the stage where we are living. So today we are living in the fourth industrial revolution, but if you historically look into the kind of a change which has been brought in right from the stage of the human inception, we all need to be aware of the fact that the first industrial revolution took place when the steam was introduced. Steam is considered to be one of the best invention introduced by the mankind. People also say wheel as one of the invention for the people to move. People also say fire is another invention early humans have discovered, and they were able to leverage for the cooking, for the light, and other sources. But it's the steam which has really given the mechanical power to drive the change, and especially speaking, The transportation industry you can talk about in the form of the rail, or the electricity, or the kind of a power it is able to generate using steam. So there is a huge amount of changes which has revolutionized the way the first industrial revolution took place. It allowed the people to move from one location to another location and also create a lot of economy. The second industrial revolution is really powered by the electricity. So when the electricity came in, and earlier it used to be lot of through the light of candle lights, or the kind of a power of manual lighting people used to create. But the electricity really generated the mass production communication. It has really empowered the people to meet the needs of the large scale operations, meet the needs of the large scale sectors, and able to generate through the assembly lines. That's where you see there is a huge amount of revolution took place in the second industrial revolution, which way back happened in the 1800s. The third industrial revolution, some of you, probably the people who are born in the age of 90s and 2000s, have really witnessed how computer, internet really made the change. It has really transformed the way we were bridging the gap between the countries and really made a bigger and tremendous impact. The fourth industrial revolution, the one where we are currently living, it is called as a digital world also. It is also called as a cyber, we are surrounded with the cyber physical systems. Nevertheless, to say, but you can consider that it is among about the technology convergence of the different technologies like cloud, big data, artificial intelligence, IoT. They are converged together to create a combinatorial effect. This digital technology is really empowering the people to be transforming the way we work, not only from the economy angle, but also from the usage and experience angle. So let us witness to understand how this particular fourth industrial revolution is taking, and what are the technologies which are converging to create a huge change in the societal behavior, huge change in the making the technology to rapidly adapt to the change. So I'm just trying to bring in some perspectives here, trying to help you based on certain research work done by one of the researcher who is focusing on the future of work, Frank Diana. So if you look into the first wave is trying to talk about the digital forces, which is really driving and inspiring the accelerators, which is empowering to create the futuristic scenarios. So they are the literally the technology foundation levers, like 3D printing, which is trying to drive a lot of enablement of creating the parts on demand. Probably it may also help in doing the mass production. And renewable energy, which is trying to see that we are able to make a bigger impact in the way we are trying to source the energy, reconstruct the energy from the different waste materials also. The IoT, which is trying to make the sensors to be placed and really make a tremendous change in the way we are trying to use our operations. Especially, there is a lot of research work going on in the IoT area. Using IoT sensors, you will be able to control the water clogging, water pollution, air quality. So many things can be done using the IoT. In fact, IoT also can be used from this pandemic situations for the social distancing as well. It will provide you the alerts and notifications if you are getting into the contact tracing of someone who is affected. So likewise, there are multiple scenarios can be evolved. The cognitive systems like AI enabled systems are all cognitive, which is trying to mimic the human element and human related decisions into the applications. The high as these technologies are converging, there is a power of computing need to be enabled. That's the reason you see way back in 2000s, 1900s, you normally had a 16 MB RAM in your computer, or 32 MB, or 64 MB maximum. If you get a 64 MB, not GB, also MB, it's a wonderful computer you're trying to operate speed during that time. But with the advancements in the nanotechnologies, increasing the computing power, you are able to get such kind of a computing power which is 100 times faster in your mobile devices, and which is much smaller in size as well. So nano is a real basic foundation to make the things happen. Now that's where you see there is a huge advancements happening in the processing powers, from the CPUs to the GPU graphical processing unit to the tensor processing unit to the quantum processing unit, what you try to witness. And robotics, you see there is a lot of automation which is triggered and a lot of human labor which cannot be possibly do certain things. Robotics are playing a role. Now, when the situations are happening across the world that you cannot meet the people who are COVID related, COVID affected, you see robots playing a role to handle the situations better. At the hotels, at the hospitals, they are becoming some of the replacement entities to serve and support the patients. Not only in that scenario, but also in some of the bigger warehouses like Amazon, you use the robots to collect, pick, and pack things. So, which are trained to do certain monotonous things, which are the repeatable job functions. You have an opportunity to use the automation and robotics to manage the things much effectively. Now, as the digitization is going on, you might have witnessed the thought about the blockchain. In fact, the government of Telangana recently announced they want to digitize all the properties and lands. How they are doing? They are using the blockchain. Blockchain is a kind of a ledger, distributed ledger system, which is trying to provide the append only database. Means you do not have an opportunity to modify the things once it is entered. You only append, means add the things to this entity. So that way, the manipulation and fudging of the data is very less, and there is difficult for anyone to change those things. Blockchain is popularized because of the Bitcoin and some of the financial things, but now blockchain is also getting done for the non-financial scenarios to a great extent. There is a lot of investment also is going on in the genomics area, where there is a huge amount of focus in developing the medical technology to the next level. That's where you see the stem cell therapy and the brainwave simulations, a lot of things which is empowered to look into the cell-based technology to drive the medical advancements to a better level. Drones, you have seen, it is becoming a very real time. Walmart has really the bigger supermarket company in the world as recently using drones to deliver, because people are not ready to come to the retail shop. They can do the online shop and they don't want to get into the trays. They are using drones as a medium to do the things. Having known about this solution accelerators, what are the futuristic scenarios you are going to see and how it's going to develop over the period of time? You see a list of futuristic scenarios which has been evolved over the period of time, right from the smart grid technologies to the smart cities, which is 100 smart cities or could be more within India. You can see many of the futuristic scenarios are driven because of the foundation technologies and also the accelerators which are really emerging and creating the need of the future. So this is here is where I'm trying to touch upon three important things: artificial narrow intelligence, general intelligence, and also the super intelligence, which is part of this particular wave. What you try to see, the narrow, the general intelligence, and also the super intelligence, which is you need to be aware of. Okay. Now, having said that, I just want to bring your attention to the some of the behavioral changes. Now, you see, these are the future scenarios which are evolving. But what is powering up these future scenarios? Is the future scenarios driving the change in the society behavior, or something within the society which is making the change in the behavior of the technology under which we are trying to operate? Okay, so if you look into that, you'd start seeing and seeing that there is a lot of societal behaviors which is influencing the change in the way the future scenarios are emerging. You see that people always call that, right? The education really helped people to move from the thumb impression to the signature, while the digitization really helped the people to move from the signature to the thumb impression. Isn't it real? Today, you use your thumb impression to unlock your phone. So there is a lot of you use thumb impression for your attendance register sometimes. You use your thumb impression to open the doors. So digital technology started leveraging the power of the human. So there is a change the way we think. The entire notion of work is also getting changed. The notion of the work is getting changed because today you see there is a generation of workers. We call about millennials, Gen X, Gen Y, baby boomers, Gen Z. All this category of the people are the people who are really enforcing the way we live, way we work, the way we adapt. Today, when I'm trying to speak about it, the notion of the work today's generation are not willing to operate on one particular job function for a long time. They would like to do 3 to 4 jobs in a week. because their interests are so dynamic in nature, they keeps changing. So their capability to look into the multiple job functions in a week is also possible. Now that is where you see there is a gig economy which is really emerging. What does the gig economy talk about? Gig workers talk about is they pledge their time for 2 hours per day or 10 hours per work, and accordingly there are some sites like Upwork, Upwork, Onolo, Work Matters, and some of these entities are providing you the opportunity for the people to hourly jobs. And in fact, if you are trying to talk about our government of India, as part of the Digital India initiatives, National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme (NREGS), that is also driving the change of providing the 100 days of work on demand. So, so it's all about looking into the society change. We need to enable those particular societal behavioral changes to technology, and the technology is also transforming the behavior of the society as well. Earlier, we never had an opportunity to pay the bills to through the mobile channels, but now at your home you can pay the bills of your electricity, water, and everything. At your home you are able to place an order and get a lot of goods at your residence. So many things are changing because of the technology empowerment. Earlier we never had an opportunity to stream the videos or stream the movies on demand, but now you can purchase movies or stream the videos on demand using the OTT channels like Amazon Prime Video and other things. So similarly, you see there are, as the lifespan of the peoples are also increasing because of the kind of medical advancements, there's a growing demand of the technologies to drive the change is also getting increased. As I say, let me also take you to the special how this particular exponential power of computing or the growth of computing triggering the change. So we had a very low compute footprint in the earlier 1900s, which has got a very limited capability to the things. But as we move forward, we start seeing that the capability of handling the things are tremendously growing. So as a compute power is available, you can do much better things. Even though artificial intelligence was introduced way back in mid of 90s, 1900s, but the popularization of that is happening now because of the ability to generate that kind of a compute power to act like a human. You have an ability to train the models and make it more uh, decision making real time as much as possible. That's where the autonomous vehicles, driverless cars, all are coming popularized because you are able to leverage the power of compute. You are able to leverage and bring that power of compute to the devices which are very local in nature. That's where you see this edge devices, edge computing, or edge locations becoming popular. So, as Microsoft keeps on saying that the tomorrow's future is all about edge. So every device you hold, it will be an edge device under which you're trying to operate because it has got the local capability to process the specific things and give you the output. It does not require the sensor to do those things. That's where you see the fitness apps. Fitness apps like PureFit, SSG, all these things are helping you to locally track your steps and give you a calorie. It is not transferring any kind of information to the central server. It's all happening in your device. Similarly, anything which is sensor based will be able to capture that event locally, perform the analysis and provide you the action. But however, the transmission of the data can go to the central server for the further analysis. So that's where I say that this particular AI space where we are trying to talk about the narrow intelligence, general intelligence, super intelligence, let's witness that. So today, when you're trying to look into the systems, many of the conversational intelligence based systems are specifically industry oriented and specific industry intent based. What does that mean is if you look into any kind of banking applications or medical applications, you see normally the chat interfaces available. These chat interfaces are not responded by the specific people. Some might be, but majority of the chat interfaces are supported with the non-human agents. Means it's the machines which are responding to your requests. So they know that intent. They are programmed for that intent. They are programmed for the industry domain. They have been trained on the ontology or the taxonomy of that particular industry, and they only can respond in that. So then it is called as narrow intelligence because it can perform one particular task at a time. It is not capable to do more. That's where it is trying to get compared with the insect brain. When as the compute power is increasing, you will see that there is a graduation to move from the narrow to the general intelligence means you are having an opportunity to generalize the intent. You have an opportunity to switch the intent and perform the actions. So that's where you see like Siri or Alexa from Amazon and many more such kind of a conversation, Google Talk. They're all providing you that capabilities to be more generalized, where it can switch the intent. So you can say, ask about the score of the IPL or what is the schedule of the IPL. Then immediately switch from sports intent to the uh, from the film intent. So movies or anything. What are the new releases which are happening in the Amazon Prime? You can ask that. You can go into the entertainment intent and ask for about playing a specific song. So human intent has got the ability to switch the context. So today interfaces are getting developed, which has the ability to change the context and also react to it. Anything which is generalized in nature is called artificial general intelligence. But the collective intelligence of power of many more people can call it as a super intelligence. And that's where you see there is a huge amount of investment which is happening to create the next level generation of the human being by bringing the collective intelligence. That's where the deep mind, it has power of many more capabilities of a human, which is ideally difficult for a human to break in. So superhumans can might be looking at it, but super intelligence is a composition of the knowledge from the multiple sources, multiple technologies, multiple intents. It can be programmed to react, and that's why the humanoids are getting developed to react in that situation. I'll play one more video when you can understand how these nuances can be really looked at and how you can make the humans machines to perform like a humans and also exhibit the nuances of the human. So before that, I just want to touch upon a few of the specific revolutions which are happening in this world. So when you're really looking into it, why AI is getting the huge amount of attention and importance? Because it is trying to make the applications to be more intelligent, self-aware, and it has an ability to make the smart and intelligent decisions because the data is moving from the centralized system to the decentralized, distributed, and democratized. So when the data is democratized, means the data is available with everyone. They have an opportunity to extend the capabilities and interpret it and function and extend the capabilities to perform their own things. The same data, so some of them can be using it as for the call centers to create an insurance. The same data can be used for the banking agents. The same data can be used for the healthcare agents. So your phone number is the same, but the utilization, because the data has been distributed and it is democratized, people can use it. Similarly, you see that lot of things which we used to which we used to have, like we used to have the watches, calculators, organizers in the past, but now everything has been uh, democratized in the form of a phone. One particular phone can capture all these things. Some of these entities are gone out of the space. Even the digital cameras are no longer getting used because the power of digital camera is embedded into your phone itself. And whatever the platforms you're seeing today, applications you're seeing today, which are very text driven, gesture driven, will be moving into the conversational platforms where you will be more immersively experiencing. That's the reason you see that gaming worlds, which is bringing a lot of attention of the immersive experience, where you start living in that particular digital world and ignoring of your physical world. Your applications like TikTok, Takatak, or whatever you people try to do this, it's providing you that immersive experience. That is the reason people are liking it and trying to interact with it. You also see that because of the sensor-based technologies, analytics power, and the ability to interpret, sense, analyze, and response. That is what we call as a SAR technique: sense, adapt, and response, or sense, analyze, and respond. So that is the ability to leverage the edge devices to capture those events, process it, and immediately provide the instructions for the autonomous vehicles to act upon. So if you are having a driverless car, you cannot expect certain events to be captured, send it to the cloud, and get that particular cloud to give you the instruction what need to be performed. It need to be ultra real time. What does that mean is it need to do a local processing and avoid all the network choking. So that capabilities are built in, which is able to manage that kind of analysis and drive the change. So when you look into this, it's very important that you should start embracing this conversational aspects, which is making the systems to be more intelligent. I would encourage, if you are trying to take up any kind of a mini projects, you can start out with Google Dialogflow or some of the TensorFlow based applications to build it, and some utility applications which can really make your life much more easy and drive the things. It could be like it will talk about whenever there is a bill popping up in your email, it will tell you there is a bill coming up for you to pay for the electricity bill. Do you want me to pay? If you say yes, it will authorize that instruction and get it paid. So it will be proactive enough to prompt you with certain things. It will understand the context under which it is trying to operate. It will try to understand and navigate through the social tweets or the Facebook posts or kind of a business applications you're trying to deal with and enable it. If you are trying to that kind of a context understanding, if you are part of the engineering college, you can also think about your homeworks which are coming in, your assignments which you need to do, and if your assignments demand certain sources of information, you can plug into that. You have certain conversations to be made. It's not easy to type in what you need, so sometimes you want to instruct by through the conversational applications. So it will able to search and provide you that contextual insights. So the power of context understanding, the power of using the natural language understanding, the power of the text semantics are really enabling to develop and make that particular applications more accessible and more available for the general and larger consumption. So today you see one of the emerging pattern in the architecture areas, what we constantly see is about a microservices based architecture pattern. If you want to Google around, you can look at it. People have historically seen the client server based architectures where the client is making a request and server is trying to provide the response. Then we moved into the 3-tier based architectures where client and mid-tier and server was there. We don't want the server to be completely bothered about the things. We want to do the mid processing. That's where the middle tier was coming and service compositions were given. Then we felt like it is important for to extend the applications and then create the extensibility frameworks. That's where the SOA was emerged. Service-oriented architectures were brought into the context. Many of the services were exposed for the consumption and extensibility. Then now we see the microservices-based architecture, where I have a system comprising of multiple technologies. Means I can build one microservices on Java, other microservices in open source technology, third microservices in .NET, and yet package these three services to form one particular application. All these three services are independent in nature, but they live in the same system. If one service gets down, it does not bring down the system, but system knows there is a service which is down. I can still operate with the two services. So why such kind of a services are delivered? It helps you to auto roll out certain features into the market. It will help you to independently roll out certain features to the specific markets, and it will ensure that there is a huge amount of design for failure is made. You are ensuring that if the failure happens, you're not bringing down the system, but you are only bringing down one particular subsystem or service component, and yet to do that. Today, if you are trying to talk about there is intelligent bots, what you said, right? We are moving towards a from narrow intelligence to the general intelligence. When you are moving from narrow to the general intelligence, you need to have multiple intents to be managed. I can program for a particular intent, but if I switch the intent, systems is not able to answer. So I can create multiple service endpoints, which will help you to create the different intents to be serviced by the intelligent bots. So the diversity can be handled and manage a lot of cognitive responses based on the intent using the deep learning or machine learning algorithms, which really transforms the way the knowledge is utilized and mined and responded. So you see today there is a huge amount of rise in the society and acceptance of the artificial intelligence, which is making the entire automation world to utilize these intelligent agents to drive the change, which is making many of the monotonous, laborious works to be automated and increase the productivity, which is really bringing down the distance between the physical and digital world and enabling the services of augmented and virtual reality scenarios. Today, you see a lot of you talk about HoloLens, you talk about Oculus Rift, so and many more, Samsung Gear and other things which are providing that capabilities of the augmented reality and bridging the gap between the physical and digital world. So with the help of digital enablement levers and also through the advanced humanoid based robotics or intelligent robotics or using the robotic process automation. Robotics does not mean that it is a physical entity all the time. Robotics can also be a non-physical entity through the making the things automated. So that's where some of the popular tools like Blue Prism, Work Fusion, Automation Anywhere, UiPath, they are all the robotic process automation tools which are generally carried out within the industry to automate the things and make the things much, much better. And that simulation of that intelligent behavior are the important needs of the society because they need to be. Okay, I see some conversation happening. Okay. So such kind of a simulations are very, very critical and important for driving that intelligent change in behavior. And you see this acceptance is to a larger extent. And we,
Hi, I'm calling to book a
sorry. So when we're trying to look into this example of the video, you would really appreciate. This is coming from the Google, where our Sundar Pichai is trying to demonstrate Google Assistant, how it will be able to make calls and drive. And you can also see in this particular conversation, how it is able to manage the nuances, how it's able to utilize the tensor processing units and drive the conversations to book the appointment in the salon for a haircut. Let us witness that.
Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Let's say you want to ask Google to make you a haircut appointment on Tuesday between 10 and noon. What happens is the Google Assistant makes the call seamlessly in the background for you. So what you're going to hear is the Google Assistant actually calling a real salon to schedule the appointment for you. Let's listen.
How can I help you? Hi, I'm calling to book a woman's haircut for a client. I'm looking for something on May 3rd.
Sure, give me 1 second. Sure, what time are you looking for around?
At 12 p.m.
We do not have a 12 p.m. available. The closest we have to that is a 1:15.
Do you have anything between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Depending on what service she would like. What service is she looking for?
Just a woman's haircut for now.
Okay, we have a 10 o'clock.
10 a.m. is fine.
Okay, what's her first name?
The first name is Lisa.
Okay, perfect. So I will see Lisa at 10 o'clock on May 3rd.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Great. Have a great day. Bye.
That was a real call you just heard. The amazing thing is the assistant can actually understand the nuances of conversation. We've been working on this technology for many years. It's called Google Duplex. It brings together all our investments over the years in natural language understanding, deep learning, text-to-speech. By the way, when we are done, the assistant can give you a confirmation notification saying your appointment has been taken care of. Let me give you another example. Let's say you want to call a restaurant, but maybe it's a small restaurant which is not easily available to book online. The call actually goes a bit differently than expected. So take a listen.
See how may I hear you?
Hi, I'd like to reserve a table for Wednesday the 7th.
For 7 people?
It's for 4 people.
4 people? When?
Next Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Oh, actually we reserve for after 5 people. For 4 people you can come.
How long is the wait usually to be seated?
When, tomorrow or weekday or?
For next Wednesday, the 7th.
Oh, no, it's not too busy. You can come for 4 people, okay?
Oh, I gotcha. Thanks.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Again, that was a real call. We have many of these examples where the calls quite don't go as expected, but the assistant understands the context, the nuance. It knew to ask for wait times in this case and handle the interaction gracefully. Look, we're still developing this technology, and we actually want to work hard to get this right, get the user experience and the expectation right for both businesses and users. But done correctly, it'll save time for people and generate a lot of value for businesses. We really want it to work in cases, say if you're a busy parent in the morning and your kid is sick and you want to call for a doctor's appointment. So we're going to work hard to get this right. There is a more straightforward case where we can roll this out sooner, where, for example, every single day we get a lot of queries into Google where people are wondering on the opening and closing hours of businesses. But it gets tricky during holidays, and businesses get a lot of calls. So we as Google can make just that one phone call and then update the information for millions of users, and it'll save a small business countless number of calls. So we're going to get moments like this right and make the experience better for users. This is going to be rolling out as an experiment in the coming weeks, and so stay tuned.
So you have seen in that particular scenario, right, how Google Duplex technology powered by the AI and supported by the intrinsic processing units was able to communicate and manage the particular conversation, and how Google is trying to work towards simplifying the life of us by just making one particular call. And how many times you might have searched for certain restaurants or certain movies or certain shops where you found that those particular operating window is what time, whether the status is open or closed. You get to know about that in Google search. Probably if you're not tried, try it out. Even the temple timings, it does show. So there is a lot of intelligence which is going on behind the scenes to get that kind of a data and update the status, which will be much more easier for the end users to consume it. And these are all possible not by the manual work. These are all possible through the automation, because the volume of searches would be significantly high. The volume of checking the status will be significantly high. But understanding such kind of a volumes, understanding such kind of nuances in the conversation, understanding the decision-making ability, and demonstrating the things to the others that you are not behaving like a bot or a machine, but you're a natural human being who's driving the conversation, it was very critical. And all are possible because you are able to leverage some of the technologies like sensor-based technologies like IoT, the ability to compute the power, leverage the power of compute at the edge. And now you see that AI is truly leveraging the power of the edge. IoT at the edge is making a tremendous wave into the market. If you really wanted to look at how IoT is driving the change, there are a lot of Gartner reports you can review. Gartner is a major analyst who provides you the insights for the future and what happens in the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years down the line, and where the technology and industry investments are going. Where does the professionals need to really look upon the change and try to prepare for the change, and they're going to provide that insights. So you see the normal AI trends are driven towards that. AI is exploring and really seeking the benefit of processing the data at the edge of all the IoT-based sensors data. And you see that there are a lot of applications are getting to be smarter and intelligent. Today, when I work for TCS, when I get the systems to be developed or applications to be developed, the customers are implicitly expecting the systems and functionality to be more richful and more intelligent in nature. They expect that to be by default. In fact, you know that Satya Nadella from Microsoft coined AI first approach should be the way to design the systems. In fact, TCS is advocating the thought that it should be a machine first approach. So you need to consider many of the things to be offloaded to the machine and very little things to be done by the individuals in the organization, because the kind of a demand is so high. So systems are trying to complement and support you rather than complicate your work-life balance. So in order to achieve that, if you want to really simulate the human brave thinking, you want to really make the collective intelligence of the human, then the amount of neural networks plays an important role. The amount of levels under which you need to treat and understand and make the decisions is also very critical. That's where the deep learning comes in. There are a lot of convolutional neural network, recurrent neural network. These are the subject areas you might be looking at if you're trying to specialize in the AI area, which will enable you to understand how the new decisions to be enabled by looking into the data sets and analyze the behavior, establish the relationships, and establish also the traceability. There is a huge amount of work is going on in the explainable AI as well. Remember the word called explainable AI. The example I want to give you here is about Amazon was trying to drive lot of interviews. So when they were trying to do the interviews, they know that there's a scale of interviews to be very large because they get a lot of resumes every day. They have set up a board which was shortlisting the candidates, which was reviewing the interviews resumes, and they say that which will be shortlisting for which opportunities or which roles. So the resume, when what happened was like the bot which was trying to shortlist the interview resumes shortlisted it, but the bot which was responsible for doing the interviews, it has interviewed the people and rejected all the people for a particular college. And people did not understand why that particular college did not have any particular selection. They went and looked at it. And when they went and looked at it, they discovered that there is a lot of bias in the decision. The model was not trained for the gender bias. So means the model was trained by the male, and they was always training the male that it should be he, or the personality is always a male personality it was trained. So since that particular college is a all human college, all the resumes which got for the interview got rejected because of the gender bias. So so deep learning, if they are not getting trained with the right data sets, and if it is a bias, it becomes a challenge. That's where the explainable AI comes into the context, where it will be able to tell you exactly why that decision was made, because it was made because it was trained for the male. So so the factors under which the decisions are operated are also very, very critical. So eliminating the bias is becoming an important area of investment, and trying to drive the change and incrementally improving the accuracy. Remember, when you are developing the applications which are of functional context earlier, it's generally meeting your 100% of your requirement. But when you're trying to develop the application which is AI based context, it is not 100% on the day one of your release. It will eventually get matured to that level, and you will never reach 100% of the functionality, because the metrics like accuracy, precision, recall rate, these are the three important things which you take into the AI to determine whether your algorithm is performing perfectly correct or not. If your training data set changes, if your test data set changes, if your real-time data set under which it is trying to operate and learn changes, your decisions also gets changed. So you need to understand that you will not get the accuracy at the first time. It will be evolving over the period of time. And you also need to see when AI is trying to adapt the change, you see that there is a lot of customer facing apps which need to be driven in the conversational manner. That's where I told you about data mining and natural language processing, text semantics, the semantic knowledge, and the decision tree analysis. All this, the combination of the technologies plays a very important role when you're developing the applications which will interface and work together to meet the objectives and needs. You see the metrics which is giving you, the numbers which is giving you how many industries where they are trying to invest. Now you may see that there is only 0.92% of investment is coming into the entertainment world, but it is growing rapidly. Telecommunication industry, they are trying to use AI for the looking into the churn data analysis, how people move from one network to the another network, the port switching and other things related to number switching. The computer hardware, with the help of the AI, they're trying to bring in the storage defined networking, storage SDN, what we call storage based networking, storage defined services, and all those things are getting evolved. And the electronic manufacturing entities, they are trying to collect a lot of intelligence data to analyze locally and perform the telemetry if required, or else it will help you to do the self diagnostics and self heal systems. So every industry, including the software information technology services industry, have started developing that capabilities and investing heavily in the AI space, and rapidly growing in this particular field. And 2020, these numbers are increasingly high. So, however, you need to understand there are a lot of limitations to for any kind of a traditional solution where you're trying to operate. As we discussed in the Amazon example, right? There are thousands of resumes I need to scan, and I need to do the interview. Today, if I'm trying to do it manually, it takes a huge amount of time to complete that process. So I need to start leveraging that particular technology like AI, which will be able to mine and give me the insights and also give me the context around the capabilities of the individuals, which is more relevant from my context. Similarly, you see about the sales cycle of the people. Now they really wanted some kind of information which is more real time at that particular point of instant. So having a contextual understanding very personalized analytics, sales intelligence can be brought out with the interactive chatbots as well. You are also seeing a lot of applications which are living in the infrastructure. There is a self-heal systems which are required so that you can increase the reliability and availability of the applications. Self-heal systems, again, it's about self-correcting or systems which have a ability to discover the things proactively and manage the situations proactively. You also see in the manufacturing world a lot of robotic arms which is trying to optimize the human performing activities and translating into the machine performing activities. It is trying to learn the mistakes from the past and making it much more collaborative effort to make it better for the future. So this today we also see that demand forecasting, global demand visibility is becoming an important challenge. Now, in the last 6 months, we see the demands were very varying, and you see when the demands are varying, your supply chain ecosystem has got a huge amount of attention. Say, for instance, a Coca-Cola company which has got a specific demand in February, and they have a prediction before this particular lockdown period how much manufacturing of their Coke need to be prepared at different locations and supplied to the different. So there is a planning entity, there is a demand entity, there is a supply chain entity. All these things need to be looked at holistically, and it was important for you to forecast. You might be forecasting the things keeping your previous historical orders in mind, but what happens if there is a natural disasters? What happens if there is a social events? What happens when there is a economical event which is getting triggered? What happens if the political events triggered? Analyzing such kind of events and understanding the microeconomic factors will also help you to make the systems to correct the decisions in a dynamic manner. So self-discovery, self-correcting, all these things are playing an important role. In fact, I'm trying to do an exercise for one company now where we are trying to use AI-based system to do the self-discovery of the applications which need to be migrated onto the cloud, from on-premise to the cloud. This is a huge amount of journey because this particular company is operating from 80 different countries. I need to run around 80 different countries to get it. Ideally not possible. So what should I do? I need to do it in a non-intrusive manner and a non-agent based manner, utilize certain tooling which can get me the data, analyze the data, and intelligently tell me what need to be done. If I do try to do it manually, it will take ages. If I do it tool based, AI based, it will be much easier and faster. So these are the scenarios which are emerging, which is making the AI is a heart of possibility in multiple industry segments to a great level. I'm going to touch upon some of the specific industries. I'm just trying to bring it to your attention about the different industries. You can read and review those things. These are all the possible use cases. In fact, I would encourage if you are a student who wanted to develop any kind of a solution on the AI, out of the mentioned scenarios, you can pick up any particular scenario for your minor and major projects. Everything has got a lot of merit in the industry. You talk about the planning sites, there are a lot of tools like Anaplan and other things which are AI powered tools which will provide you the prescriptive insights like a next best action based on the demand and supply, what you need to do it. So if you're trying to talk about the procurement, you need to have an instant understanding about your contracts. If any contract is expiring, what need to be done? You need to initiate a new contract with the supplier who is going to give you a very quality products with better rates. So that instant contract analysis and providing you the recommendation is also important. Just like you go and purchase a product in Amazon, it will tell you the people who purchase this also purchase this. It's a recommendation engine, right? That is powered by the AI and analytics tool. So manufacturing segment, if you're trying to look at, it is really driving the change because of the smart warehouse scenarios, digital twins. What is a digital twin? It is a digital replica of the physical infrastructure. There is a lot of assembly line information which is there in the manufacturing units. If you visit any manufacturing unit, you have an assembly lines which is having a different stages. So if you have a particular error or a particular stoppage in any of your distribution chain, you have a difficulty to spot it. But if you have replicated with the sensors in your digital twin, it will immediately provide you the hotspot to identify which of the assembly line is the problematic, which you need to focus and repair, and may ensure that there's a preventive maintenance can be triggered on a periodic basis. Similarly, in the inventory management area, many stores which will manage this particular inventory currently doing it manual. But if you club the sensor-based technology, that is where the Amazon Go came in popular, right? Amazon Go video, if you've seen, you can Google it on Amazon Go in YouTube or in Google. It will talk about how you will be able to move Your mobile is your identity. It will allow you to get into the store. There is not even a single person. In fact, I personally saw that in Chicago when I visited in the early part of this year. You can walk into the store. Your mobile is your entity identity. You just need to install the Amazon Go app. It will track you as you pick up the items in the store in your hand or in the trolley. It will calculate as you walk out. It will bill and charge your credit card immediately, and the digital invoice is shared to you. So wonderful experience, and it will immediately trigger that there is a change in your inventory, there is a change in your needs of stacking up the particular inventory as and when it is required. The people at the back end knows about it, and they send robots to refill the things. Similarly, the auto fulfillment, the picking of the goods and the submitting, the drones are becoming very popularized. And you look into the area of marketing or sales or e-commerce, logistics, customer service on the right hand side. There are many scenarios which are really evolving over the period of time to drive this particular change. And embracing this change is very important and critical. So there is a huge amount of potential in this area to look at and really take advantage of this artificial intelligence as a source. But how do I develop these things, and how do I go about developing this entire spectrum of automation? So we have witnessed about a narrow AI, where it is very probabilistic in nature and a specific intent under which I'm trying to operate in one particular domain. But as I move on, you see there is a huge amount of robotic desktop automation, which is very deterministic in nature. I know there's a element of human which is involved, which is triggering it. But from the robotic process automation, just like in the many of the business process outsourcing deals, no, BPO, where you see the manual work functions are getting automated through the robotic process automation, like screening of the application, screening of the transcripts, generating from the manually written transcript to the digital transcript. Everything can be automated. So it's a process-based automation which is tricky. Fourth is about the autonomics. That's where you see that it is deterministic because it has got a specific intent, specific area, but it is independent to capable and self-learn. That is where the unsupervised learning methods or semi-supervised learning methods also comes into the context. As we move forward, we are focusing on the generic AI methods, which is really focusing and driving the change and trying to bring the human brain-based behavior, where the context switching, multiple intent programming, all these things are possible in nature. So your intelligence grows as you move towards a generic AI, and the involvement of the UI also changes as you move from the narrow AI to the generic AI. Okay, so you see, we have witnessed about some of the use cases and scenarios like a supply chain, how you try to drive supply chain, just like your kirana store. So basically, you're trying to ship your from the production to the stores where the consumers can really consume. At every stage, like forecasting to the planning of the inventory, you can manage your entire services through the AI-based systems. Similarly, from the customer experience, we have talked about the teleco providers, right? They do a lot of churn predictions based on the call usage, data usage, and try to make the decision, try to roll out the offers. In fact, I believe you might be using some of the apps like 1MG or PharmEasy or NetMeds or anything. So when you go and put in for a lab request or when you place an order and you do not complete an order for 24 hours, you just put it and then try to remove it and come back. You get a personalized message with a personalized code of the offer codes indicating that you get 5% more discount or 30% more discount. You use this for the deal code for this particular day, you get better discounts. They are able to get that insights because they know what actions you perform, and since you are not able to complete the transaction, they want to give you a feeler indicating that you get a better discount, you better go and purchase that and complete the transaction. They focus on the conversions, they focus on the customer retention, they focus on the customer's transactions, which can give them the higher sales revenues. So similarly, the HR, right? We have seen the examples of the Amazon and other things, which is trying to promote right from the discovering the candidates and ensuring that they get the complete monitoring of the performance and complete monitoring of entry to the exit criteria, right? From the time of hiring to the exit, everything can be managed through the AI-based systems, which can intelligently mine the candidate performance activities and also groom him in the areas where the training can be performed. Similarly, in the finance side, your ability to predict the cash flow, your ability to look into the budgeting aspects and billing aspects are also very, very critical. You've seen the example of the contract expiries, which is helping you to analyze and try to recommend who are the best players to contract. So, if you really look at this intelligent applications, what you're trying to see today are like conversational apps, chatbots, which are really available as part of the mainstream. And if you're trying to look into the intelligent things, the industrial equipment, the autonomous vehicles, the drones, the robots, whatever you see, are part of the mainstream today. It is really ensuring that your entire business processes are going towards the smart and intelligent based systems, which is having a lot of value created and help you in predicting and mitigating those things with a preventive and prescribed way of functioning. Ultimately, you are ensuring that your total cost of ownership is reduced, that is, operational cost is reduced, your productivity and accuracy of the predictions are improved. You are ensuring that your workplaces are better and safer, because any unsafe environments, you are trying to make the AI based robots to work rather than making the humans to work. So, which is also providing the self heal capabilities, which is ensuring that you are able to resolve the issues faster and better to make the decisions. So such kind of things which are there. Now, as a programmer, as a developer, as a student, where I should invest? Which are the platforms I should invest? What are the technologies I need to really learn about? If you really look into that, I just want to bring your attention to some of the key leaders, which is also coming in from the Gartner's Magic Quadrant. So if you really look at Amazon, Google, IBM, they're all the leaders in the market of the AI. IBM has really popularized their Watson platform. If you really go back and look into the Jeopardy, which is about the challenge which throws out to the people. So in Jeopardy, it was a game which is shown in the television where people were posted questions and you had to answer it. So Watson has created that platform which was able to beat the human beings, which was able to crawl through the dictionaries, wikis, and provide the responses. Google has come out with a TensorFlow algorithm supported by Keras and others, completely Python based, which will allow you to build the intelligent systems. Amazon invested heavily in the AI area, and there is a lot of adoption in the AI based systems using Amazon. In the challenges quadrant, you can see Baidu from China, Salesforce AI platform is there, Einstein, what we call Salesforce Einstein AI platform, which will take your data and predicts what kind of data it is. You can take a sports data and give it to it. It will tell you it's a sports data and what kind of insights it can create. And it also prompts you what kind of questions you ask for the system. That is the power of Einstein. Apple, Siri, it's a virtual assistant available on your iPhones. The niche place, if you're trying to look at, it's all about like Grid4C, Plantix, Carnegie Learning. So especially when you're looking into the Plantix systems, it is trying to help the farmers in detecting the diseases associated to the farming technology. It recognizes based on the image, computer vision algorithms. Yeah, the liver is there to scan and try to predict. Grid4C, when you're trying to look at, it's trying to optimize the electric grids. A smart grid technologies, which is completely leveraging using the AI-based systems. Carnegie Learning is using this entire AI-based systems for the performance of the students. Basically, when you submit your papers, examination papers, it analyzes your mark sheets. It does not analyze the marks. It analyzes the kind of a common mistakes you're committing. If your mistakes are commonly there, it will prompt you that you are regularly committing the mistake in this particular area of the spelling. You are regularly committing the mistake in this formula of this particular problem nature. So it will prompt to improve the performance of the students by letting them know proactively what is the common mistakes they are conducting without their knowledge. Because if you can avoid these common mistakes, they see that there is a 30% improvement in the performance of the students. In the visionary segment, you see Microsoft, HTO.ai, iCarbonix. These are some of the startups, and also Microsoft very popularizing their Cortana and other platforms. Now they're calling that as a Microsoft Azure-based AI application platforms, part of their intelligent cloud and intelligent edge strategy. So Microsoft is currently going with the theme of intelligent cloud and intelligent edge, and making their entire application landscape, services landscape, solution landscape, product landscape to be AI aware, smart. So HTO.ai is again a specific development technology available for the Spark-based developer, Apache-based framework. It completely leverages using the deep learning algorithms. CarbonX is more to do with the AI-based personalized health analysis. In fact, your health predictions can be brought in once you submit the data. So you can choose one of this platform. You can really try to track this platform to the next level and see the benefit coming out of it. Some of the specific innovations, this is the practical innovations I'm trying to talk about. Very, very important for you to understand. The Cocoon Cam, you can download and see this. It's a very, very good cam. Try to understand when the kid is crying, what need to be done. The Byton Smart Intuitive Vehicle. Now, this is one of the first vehicles which was trying to understand the mood of the individuals and trying to bring in a lot of intuitiveness to play the music, or in fact it is bundled with the speak music muse also, looking into the mood, looking into the environmental context, looking into the conversations which are happening, it plays the music. And rinse speed snap means it's all again an AI based vehicle which is trying to allow the people to board and onboard at their will and wish. So likewise, there are multiple things which are getting in. So you see the soft bare automation. It's a stitching handle. It's a kind of a sew bot, what you call. It is automating sewing work lines in the garment segment. In the garment segment, you have the manual intense labor work, which is trying to take the dimensions and stitch the thing. Sew bots will be taking these particular dimensions in a instruction mode and help you to construct. In fact, if a human is able to generate one T-shirt in 2 hours, this within the same span, the two bots can generate nearly 100 T-shirts. So such kind of a scale of operations are possible, and it can reduce the cost of ownership and improve the productivity to a great level. Having said that, I also wanted to give you certain perspective of what are the things which could be completely disrupted. What are the expert automation softwares and expert automation and augmentation software? This is where we call as a EaaS startups. These startups are really disrupting some of the job functions, the way we are trying to drive. Today, if you're trying to ask for the lawyers, no, there are a lot of junior lawyers which mine the data from the past history and gives it to the main lawyers to fight it for you. So today, Case Text, Ross, Brevia, all these are some of the popular systems which is performing the function of a junior lawyer. There might not be need of any junior lawyer to mine the data. Systems can provide you the access to that kind of information based on the query you try to perform. A lot of HR managers who are trying to drive the change now with the focus of Upwork, Onolo, all these things are gone. The HR managers are completely disrupted. You may not need HR manager. You are trying to create a platform where the job providers and job consumers both will have the platform to access, just like Uber. Uber is providing the platform. There are travelers who need it. There are drivers who will be offering to give you the service, trying to bridge the gap. Similarly, the marketing platform, the digital marketing campaign, everything is automated. Marketo, Amplero, Appler, Bloomreach, they are providing the kind of a levers to drive your campaign in the multiple channels. You can do the email marketing, you can do the bot-based phone marketing, you can make the advertisement-based marketing. So there are multiple marketing channels which is trying to disrupt. Now, because of the online collaboration platforms and the teaching assistants which are available today, one of the math app people have developed, whenever there's a problem, and you just take a screenshot of the problem and submit it, it will provide you the full answer. How it is able to interpret all these things? It is able to interpret using the deep learning algorithms, AI-based systems, and providing you the assistance to solve those things much, much faster. Similarly, investment management banking. So today, if you see, there are a huge amount of investment managers available, which is trying to advise where to invest, how to invest. May not be required in the future. Your entire investment management can be handled by the machine itself. It exactly knows which bank accounts, which investment zones are available. It will mine the data and try to provide you the recommendations. So CRM sales agents, research consultants, software developers like Apply Tools and DivBlue, it will auto-generate the code. It means 60% of your code is generated based on the metadata and requirements you provision. So all these particular areas, what you're trying to witness here, is trying to disrupt the change. In fact, the trader economy, like Reliance Retail, once it comes live, it might be completely disrupting the Kirana stores also. But it does not mean that you are not going to the Kirana stores. Reliance Retail is enabling the reach from the consumer to the producer. It is enabling and bridging the gap between the consumer to the Kirana store wala. So today, whenever I need a requirement, I'll go to the Mohalla-based Kirana to get that particular requirement fulfilled by buying it. If I need it in volume, I may go to a general bazaar or some other location where I can get it for the cheaper rates. So, retail, Reliance Retail is trying to bridge that kind of a gap and bring in the wholesale and retail market at your doorstep. And you see that there is a lot of focus for the software developers. The entry level software developers will have a huge challenge because the companies like More Quality, Apple Tools, Planso, you can Google around this, are really producing the high quality softwares and tools which can really reduce your time to develop the things from front end aspects. So these startups are really focusing and leveraging the AI based software testing, debugging, and basic front-end development tools, which will allow you to develop the code and immediately roll it out on a faster basis. So you can Google around this particular tools. You have a huge opportunity to see. And there is some of the startups are also open source contributions. You can also fork this particular code and from the GitHub and start using it. And you know that the major players like Google, Apple, Facebook, Intel, Microsoft, and Amazon, they have been constantly developing and aggregating the AI-based systems into their portfolio of knowledge. Google has acquired a lot of tools from the DNA research for the voice and recognition image, and from DeepMind Core AI, and from the mood stocks related to the image stockings. And API.ai is integrated for the natural language processing. Kaggle they have acquired for the data science. All these things are acquired to construct the AI-based platform. Nothing is developed from the scratch. Sometimes if you want to develop from the scratch, it takes time. It's better that you try to buy out some of the key players in that particular market because they are niche in nature. The amalgamation or the consolidations of these particular tools are making their platforms to be much richer. So generally, if you take the AI platforms, they are surrounded with six different capabilities. One is computer vision based. Second is about the analytics and business intelligence based. Third is about conversational apps and the text analysis based or sentiment analysis. Fourth is about the internet organization applications, which is trying to consolidate and provide the meaningful insights. The fifth is about the industrial IoT, and sixth is definitely very important is the cyber security. So the combination of these particular technologies really make the power of AI platforms to be much more powerful, to disseminate and also engage and to drive the change. Lastly, I'm trying to touch upon there is a huge amount of game changers shaking up the market. Every segment of the industry is trying to look forward for the future market. Future of work will be completely transformed and disrupted. Today, you might be seeing how our grandfathers used to work, how our fathers used to work. Now, what is the current people who are working? What will be future? I told you about a gig working economy. People may have multiple jobs. They may not be depending on one particular job. Similarly, the store, product, travel, fashion, future food. Some of these entities which I mentioned here, I'm not running through everything, but all these brands are powered through the AI-based systems and transforming the way they are trying to drive. So look into that game changes, understand what they are trying to bring the change and how they are trying to embrace this change with the power of analytics and AI to a great level. So that's where I'm trying to come closer to the conclusion of my talk. And I just want to tell you that you cannot really solve the problems with the same level of thinking when you have created. This is a quote from Albert Einstein. These are the great influencers like who are really optimistic in mind with action-oriented mentality and who are able to network with the like-minded people and able to deal with uncertainty situations who were focused on the experience driven to the leveraging the technology to drive the intelligence to make the change, who have the ability to take risk. So AI based systems really set the high expectations and exploit the unlimited potential what we carry and really dream for the future where you see how you can unlock the future with the power of AI and make their lives to be much better and easier. So start thinking differently and apply. See, AI is a system which you can really leverage. When you really leverage it for the wisdom, you'll be able to make the change and transformation. But if you are trying to use it for some radically different purpose, you may not be driving the change, but you might be affecting the change. So focus to be thinking differently from the positive angle and to help the human cause to a better extent. So that's where I stop and I invite if there are any questions, and I hope this session is useful and purposeful for you to understand how AI is driving the change. Gopal, over to you. If there are any questions in the chat or a Q&A panel, let me know.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful time and session. It helps a lot of the students to have a clear picture on what is AI and what is the market and all this. Thank you for your valuable time, sir. Here, sir, any questions from your side?
Yes, sir. Yes. Shravani ma'am, once check the students. If you have any queries, you can just raise or else post in the chat box. Unmute your mic.
I request all the participants, if you have any doubts, please post them in the chat or else you can ask directly by unmuting your mic.
Good evening, sir. Sir, for the AI, which programming languages are most preferable, sir, to be strong in the AI?
So I've started streaming my video, but if you have any questions, I'll be glad to speak and respond. Gopal, no questions coming in, but I'm assuming that people understood what is AI is trying to drive the change. Some of the key examples of what I've shown in the couple of videos, really helping them to understand how new age applications will be developed and realized in the enterprise context. Part of the possibility also unlock them to understand the different use cases.
Yes.
And also provide some kind of a platforms and the languages which will enable them to develop this AI-based systems.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Madam, can you give a vote of thank and we will close for the session, ma'am?
Sure, sir. Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure to be a part of this seminar. I thank Mr. Balaprasad sir for his valuable session on behalf of Pallavi Engineering College and from all the participants. I hope this session is very helpful and useful to all the participants. I thank the organization and all supported team, faculty, students, and finally I thank Gopal sir, Vice Chairman sir, Principal sir, Vice Principal sir, and our HOD sir, Sri Hari Raju sir, for making this power seminar successful. Thank you all. And at last, please, all of you, check the chat box and fill the feedback form. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Gopal, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Balaprasad, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.